The South African Human Rights Commission is dragging the city of Cape Town to court following an incident of a man who was dragged out of his shack naked. Let's speak now to the South African Human Rights Commissioner Chris Nissen, who speaks to us from Cape Town. Commissioner, good morning to you. A very strongly worded statement from the Commission. You say, and I just want to quote one element of that statement, "We cannot and should not repeat the sins of the past." What, in your view, that has happened to Mr. Xolani is reminiscent of what we saw in the apartheid years?
Well, good morning, Xolani, and good morning to all the viewers. Yes, indeed. I am at this stage and age where I have witnessed apartheid in its worst forms, from torturing detention to seeing how other people have been stripped naked on wherever we found ourselves. We were non-entities. And what we've seen is to strip somebody of his human dignity is actually making that person a non-entity. And we cannot allow in this age and in this democracy for any person, whether that person is legal or illegal in a place, for that person to be treated like a non-human being.
Yeah. Let me read you this statement, or perhaps just repeat what has been said by the mayor of Cape Town speaking to us last night. He says, "Nakedness is a tactic by those who are being evicted," and he says it's nothing new anyway. What does that tell you about the attitude of the city towards this incident?
Well, if the law enforcement agencies are being prepared to go and dismantle structures, the first thing is that they must learn from the previous lessons and what are people going to use as strategies, and then prepare themselves for it. Clearly, if the city says people have been in the past, they should have been prepared and not continue dehumanizing Bulelani the way they've done. But that's not also an excuse for the behavior. Why should we now compare if they say, well, it's happened before, we're doing it again? At least now people have seen what they've been doing, because that is completely unacceptable.
Mr. Plato, the mayor, telling us last night, or even suggesting that the Human Rights Commission might corroborate his story that Mr. Xolani was actually fully clothed before what we are seeing in the cameras now. Do you have any of that evidence?
No. Our monitors were there on the ground. Our monitors showed them their papers and said, we are monitors of the South African Human Rights Commission. And they intimidated our monitors. So I don't know where the story comes from.
Let me ask you then this question. If you listen, as I've relayed for you what Dan Plato, the mayor, said in Cape Town, and you couple those statements with that of the premier, who says, look, I haven't spoken to this man, I've not reached out to him, and in all likelihood I will talk to him if and when the investigation is concluded. What does that tell you about the city's attitude in terms of a caring government, that province as a whole?
Well, this has been our daily interaction. Whilst there are good men and women in the city, both as officials and in law enforcement arena, we must also admit that, and listening to the people about what they're going to do during winter and where they're going to stay, there is an element of not caring. There's an element of not engaging with the people in a proper way. Consultations, talking to people, training their law enforcement officers to be a more caring and more human rights orientated. That is clearly lacking.
The city of Cape Town says it is going to carry out an investigation. Now, if I am Bulelani Xolani and I'm listening to what Dan Plato has had to say, that nakedness is a tactic and it's nothing new, that attitude, would you be convinced that a proper investigation will be carried out here? Never mind fairness and impartiality, just a proper investigation. Is the city capable of doing that if already the man who sits at the highest office in that city has these words to say?
Well, the thing is, we must allow that investigation to continue. The question is, if the city says they've got video footage or footage about Bulelani being closed before the end date, why are they not showing that to the world? And why are they justify the actions by saying we did this because people are using this as a tactic? The fact of the matter is that they could, if people were coming out naked, why wouldn't they ask somebody else to close the person and say, hey, hang on, let's just form a cordon around the person, try to find something to close the person. I mean, we've seen this, for example, when a person goes on a cricket field or a soccer field, and after the running naked across, the first thing they do is to cover them, not tackle them and throw them on the ground and 4 or 5 people be on top of this person, assaulting the person. No. To say that, that they've got footage and all this thing, please be open to those and tell the world. But that does not mean the actions that they've taken to humiliate Bulelani and strip him of his dignity is justifiable.
Are you confirming for us that you are taking this matter to court? Because that's what we read in our intro here.
There are 2 things here. The first thing is obviously Mr. Bulelani, as the Human Rights Commission, will be taking this matter up with him and take to the Equality Court. Mr. Bulelani still have got the right through his legal representatives to continue the criminal case. And then also from our side, we have indicated that we want to meet with the city today, and we will give the city notice that we are taking this matter of evictions during COVID-19. We are going to go to court on this matter.